Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Villa, No Filler. Please remember to like and subscribe. And subscribe if you're delighted that we have gone into the FA Cup fourth round. I knew I would live to see this day that Aston Villa actually win FA Cup games. I mean, we won, we beat Middlesbrough last year, didn't we? And then they got tonked by Chelsea. But Villa won. I didn't think that was going to be the case for the first, 70 minutes of that game because for large spells of that match, we were absolutely abysmal. Look, I think West Ham came out and looked like a team who had a new manager. They played with energy. They had a structure that I think, when a new manager goes into a club, you simply cannot prepare for what they're going to do, whereas they can prepare for you. Everybody knows what Villa are going to do. Is whether you can stop it is the question. But with West Ham and Graham Potter, you don't really know what they're going to be. And I think they came into it and they pressed really well, really hard. They got their well-deserved early goal, and then they structurally were well set up in that they bunged up the middle, five at the back, so the wing-backs coming back, so he sort of numbed us trying to get in behind. And I think first half, if I was to be honest, as horrendous as Aston Villa were, I think West Ham did set up well. I think Crescencio Somerville was really excellent as well. But one thing that was an abiding thing I noticed, Ian Matson, who I thought was our brightest player all game, to be honest. I think overall, Boubacar Kamara, as always, played well. The only, the only players who played well for the whole game, I think Kamara did his usual very, very good job. I think Ian Matson looked very, very bright, and I don't think we used him enough in the first half. And I think that this is going to be an issue for us in the next 2 months with Pau Torres out. I love Tyrone Mings. I think Tyrone Mings has been a super defender for Aston Villa. He's a good defender. But I think when you are ball playing and you're playing against a team who's sitting 10, 11 players behind the ball, having Pau Torres' passing ability from the back and ability to get forward into the final third and link up play, you are going to miss that. And we missed it against Leicester at times. I think we missed it today, particularly in that first half. And I think that's an indication of a few things we might notice in the next 2 months with Pau being out. But that said, otherwise, I thought Nana came on and actually, I think, put himself about a bit at least. Won quite a few challenges, got stuck in. And sometimes that's all you need. But I think first off, Bailey. Look, I don't call out players right on this podcast very often. I don't single out players very often. But in that first half, I thought Rodgers was his worst display I've ever seen from him. I thought he was absolutely awful. Tielemans couldn't pass a ball. He kept slipping over. I don't know whether the pitch was overwatered because quite a few players were slipping over. Don't know whether he had the wrong studs on, but it was all over the place, Tielemans. I think Bailey was the bad old Bailey of the first season. Getting touched and he's lying down on the floor. He's moaning. He's acting as if he's hurt. And it's just one of them things that you're like, mate, you're playing your way out of the club here if you perform like that. After he gets his goal against Leicester, and you think, look, great, now you can build on that. Show your confidence. Show what you showed last season. And yes, it's harder without a Diaby style player there playing alongside him. Yes, it's hard that he's always doubled up on, but I think that first half play was close to disgraceful, actually, and it's very rare I say that. But I think overall it was a reflection of how the team were playing. But then second half, different story. I think West Ham, they lost Crescencio Somerville, so you have to acknowledge that. I think West Ham, whilst they were sitting deep and trying to hit us on the break a bit in the first half, I think sometimes that gets into the heads of teams. And if you just keep sitting back, eventually you're a team like Aston Villa, who have a lot of attacking quality, eventually you think they're going to link a pass up somewhere. Eventually they get it through. But I think West Ham, it's almost like they sat deep too long and they asked for trouble in that way. But also, I think that it could be a fitness thing. I went to the Aston Villa West Ham game first day of the season, and I was really surprised at how passive West Ham were in that game. And I just wonder whether they're conditioned at the moment to play in the way that Lopetegui did, which isn't necessarily, maybe it wasn't very high intensity. So that's something that I think Potter's going to have to work on with them maybe in the next weeks and months. But I think there were enough signs tonight for West Ham fans to be optimistic about what might come with with Potter there in the next few months. But in fair play to Villa, having been so abysmal for about over an hour, we did play our way into it, and eventually, it was never a corner. My God, I don't know what the referee saw there. I mean, he did follow. I mean, Tielemans should have had a corner just before it, and then Onana gets a corner that wasn't a corner, and then lo and behold, Onana goes to score from it. Sorry, West Ham fans. I mean, that's rubbish, isn't it? Really frustrating for them. But yeah, Villa were knocking on the door quite a bit up to that point. We'd had a few corners. You could feel the momentum was shifting, and Matson with the shot. He'd had a good one a few minutes before that as well, and then works his way to Onana. There we go. Good goal. Like I say, Matson involved. I thought he was our brightest player tonight, and I think we kept missing the passes with him in the first half. I think he got a bit more of the ball in the second half, and I think he really saw what he's about. And I think that assist against Leicester, it looks like it might have helped him. And tell you what, he's going to be starting games soon. And I think other positives, when Buendia and Ramsey came on, I think they showed a real energy. And it felt to me almost like Ramsey was quite poor against Leicester. He's been quite poor recently in that he's been struggling to come back from that long injury he's had. Buendia's had the same issue. He's looked off the pace, the two of them. And it's almost like the two of them sat down together, were heads together, screaming at each other, telling each other, we're going to show what we're about. It's almost like Unai Emery took them aside, or Paco Esther, or one of the coaches somewhere took them aside and said, look, I know how good you are. You're not showing it at the moment. And I know it's hard to come back from the injuries you've had, but you need to really show it for me now. And it's like the two of them reacted to something on the same night. They were excellent. Buendia really put himself about, really went in for tackles. I think if you look at his numbers tonight, I don't know what they are, but it felt like he won a lot of challenges. It disrupted West Ham playing. A couple of really good passes from him, and he was involved with the goal as well. And again, that's Aston Villa for you, isn't it? We're capable of this. Ball from Olsen straight into Tielemans. Tielemans turns terrible all night, and then plays a pass like that into the close to the final third into Buendia. Really sharp turn from Buendia into Ollie Watkins. Watkins does really well to get the ball across, and Rodgers, who'd been again, as I said, one of his worst games I've ever seen for Villa, gets a goal. And that's the quality of the man, isn't it? Even if he's playing badly, he can still pop up and do that. So great stuff for him to get a goal. Great stuff for Watkins to get an assist. And then from there, I think Villa could have had 3 or 4, to be honest. I think Nedeljkovic, I really rate Nedeljkovic. I think, 18 years of age, he's quite slight, so he still needs to grow physically. I think his confidence at the moment looks a little bit shaky. You can see at times he knows he's on the ball, and he doesn't want to make a mistake. But I think the more comfortable he gets at this level, I really, really, truly believe there is a really, really top end international quality, excellent footballer there in Kostas Nedeljkovic. I really do believe we have a gem in him. And if he goes on loan, I really hope it works out. And I hope, if we do sign a right centre back or right back, I hope Costa stays, because I really want to see what he's like in 2 years' time. He's 18 now. He's learning the hard way at the moment. But there were some good things tonight, good defensive blocks, 1 or 2 nervy moments. But again, he got forward and put that ball across as well, got into the final third. And that's what he can do, and I really think, there's a Bale-like nature to him sometimes, I think. And I think of Bale at that age, skinny, slight. People used to mock him at times, say he wasn't that good. He didn't win a game for a million years for Tottenham. But then eventually clicked, didn't it? And he physically filled out. And I think Costa, similar build, physical, strong, gets forward. Keep an eye on him. He's a player I would keep an eye on, no matter what his future holds, if it's at Villa, wherever. I really do think there's a player in there, and I was pleased to see his display tonight. Really happy for him. But overall, look, Villa were abysmal. It was a classic Aston Villa FA Cup game. We simply just do not seem to like this tournament, even though we've been to 2 FA Cup finals in my lifetime and lost them both. First hour I was think of all the poor Coronation Street and Emmerdale fans who didn't get to see their TV show tonight. Cancelled because Villa and West Ham were bloody on TV. But Villa coming back into it, show what we're made of. Good win now. We've got over that new manager bounce. We've got another one coming against Everton. It's good to get that win and build some momentum with this year. That's 2 wins now on the bounce. Good stuff to start the year. And good display from a couple of our fringe players to come in like Ramsey and Buendia and show what they're made of. That was a good sign as well. And I think Ramsey might start against Everton now after that as well, particularly. Otherwise, not much more to say. We're through. Great. Who knows? It's going to be tough. All the games we've got, Champions League, FA Cup now, Premier League games going for Europe again. It's tough. It's tough. But look, this team can do it. Why not? Why not dare to believe? If you have any thoughts and opinions, let me know. Comment down below. Please subscribe. Please give us 5-star reviews on Spotify as well. Go on that app. Just click that 5-star. If you're on iTunes as well, give us that 5-star because it really helps us grow. There's a million Aston Villa podcasts. They're all great. But if I want to keep doing this, which I really like doing, and if you enjoy the podcast at all, please help us out in that way as well. It really would be appreciated. Anyway, up the mighty Villa.